Alright, today we're going to be changing the air filter and the spark plugs on a 2015 Kia Soul Plus. And these instructions, although this is a 1.8 liter GDI engine. Is it 1.8 or is it 2.0? 2.0. Sorry, it's a 2.0 GDI engine. These instructions also apply to the 1.8 in the base model, as well as the turbo Soul Bang. So, alright, so let's get started by changing out the air filter. And there's a pair of clamps on the outside toward the fender well, and then you should be able to just slide it toward the fender well out of those other two attachment points there. And there we go. Now you can lift out the filter and discover that we have the wrong one. Oh, we have the right one?
Yes.
Okay. Let's, oh, yucky. Alright. So set that aside. And then the new one just drops in, and because it's got an angle on one corner, it's pretty much impossible to put it in there wrong. So there we go. So now you see the two tabs back there on the back side? Yeah. You just got to slide the two slots. You just got to slide the two tabs into those and then reconnect the two little hooks on the other side. Man, that was easy. Why would you pay somebody to do that? So the first thing we got to do is we got to pull the engine cover off. And it's just held on there with little push fasteners. So just gently lifting it, well, kind of rocking it forward and backward should be enough to get it off of there. Yeah, it comes straight up. There you go. And there's two in the back. And then we can set that aside. So now here on top of the engine there's 4 coil packs, and they all have their connections to the ECU. So the first thing, we're going to do these one at a time so we don't get the connections messed up and end up with a misfire. So let's start on that far one on the end there. And the first thing we need to do is we need to remove that connector that holds it in there. And you see there's a little gray tab on it. Yep. Let me give it a try here. Yeah, it just pulls straight out. You just got to get a fingernail or a screwdriver blade or something underneath that tab and it just pulls right out. Then you should be able to gently rock that connector off of the coil pack. Or maybe not. Got to switch hands here. There we go. See, and there's your happy little connector. And again, it's keyed so it can only go on there one way. So now we need to take that one bolt that holds the coil pack loose. And I took a wild guess here that this was going to be 10 millimeter. Yeah, it looks like 10 millimeter. So righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. That's tightening. There we go. And set the bolt someplace where we won't lose it. Now the coil pack just comes straight out. So basically, if you wiggle it a little bit and pull on it, it should come up. It can take a little bit of effort because it's rubber and it's attached to the top of the spark plug. There you go. So set that aside. Now the spark plug. And you can see that it's pretty deep down in that hole there. Let me see if I can get some light in there. So now we've got spark plug wrench, and the spark plug wrench has got a rubber washer inside of it that actually grips the insulator and makes it easy to take this thing out. So go ahead and drop that down into the hole. There you go. Take a little bit of force to break it loose. There you go. Everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season. So I apologize for the jump cut there. The camera was overheating. It's a very hot day today, so we had to take a little bit of a break, but now we're on the second cylinder. And these go in, because they're gasketed plugs, meaning that they have a little washer down on the bottom, they go in until they're as tight as you can get them with your fingers on an extension. Then you put a wrench on it and give it another quarter turn, and that's all it takes. You don't want to strip the threads out of the head or anything like that, or make it impossible to change in the future. Hurry up, the cops are coming. So,
I don't want to force it any more than that.
That's probably tight enough. All right. So now it's lather, rinse, and repeat for the other two remaining plugs and coil packs. There we go. Now this is what they look like after they've been in there for a while. You can see that there's a little bit of gray on the ground strap and on the center electrode, and that gap opens up. Now, because the plugs we're putting in are iridium and platinum, they come pre-gapped. You don't want to try and gap those because you will mess up that center electrode. Okay, now there is one quirk to this. Because this whole gasoline direct injection part here gets in the way of this, once you get this coil pack loose, you can't go anywhere with it. So there is a trick to this. Okay. First of all, this little clamp here that retains this particular hose, if you pop it up like that, that gives you a little more clearance. And then, if you finagle this just right, there we go. Comes out. Okay, now putting the coil pack in once you've changed that plug is the same as getting it out, which requires a little less effort because it just wants to slip through there. So that's on top of there, that's all lined up. Make sure you reconnect that and put the noise cover back on. And now we're ready to finish putting in the hold down bolts, reconnect all the fasteners, reconnect the connectors, and button things up. That one's a little tough to get to. Let me see if I can screw it in a little bit further to give my wrench more clearance. And you could do this with an open-end wrench or something else that comes at it from the side. But if you get a short enough socket, There's enough wobble in the system to make that work. Alright, so where's our... Oh, there it is. Snap that back on. Make sure that we've got everything clicked into place. All our bolts are tight. We're ready to put the cover on and the job will be done. Alright, it's time to put the engine cover back on, and it just clips onto these little guys here. There's, you can see where they're located. Little silver, they look like bishops. And there's 1, 2 on the intake manifold. So, just make sure that everything's lined up. There you go. The job, she is done.